All right, so welcome to AY for this evening. Welcome all. All right, my name is Cleon Alexander, AY leader for Ruka Church, and we're so happy to have you all here. So we had about 2 Sabbaths that we didn't have any AY service. So we're very, very happy to have you all back with us. Wherever you are in the world, we want to thank you so much for joining us. All right, we should be live on YouTube. Is that Ife? Are we live on YouTube? Just want to verify. Some people are telling me that we are not. So, all right, we are. So you can probably just refresh the pages. All right, so if we are live on YouTube, once again, I just want to say welcome. And as usual, before we start, we usually go with our aim, motto, and pledge to start. So we will start with our aim first. All right, so wherever you are, let's just get ready to say the aim, motto, and pledge. So the AY aim, the Advent message to all the world in my generation. AY motto, the love of Christ compels me. The pledge, let's present arms. Right hand over the left shoulder. After 4, 3, 4. Loving the Lord Jesus, I promise to take an active part in the youth ministry of the church, doing what I can to help others and to finish the work of the gospel in all the world. All right, so you can order arms now. All right, so since we got through those preliminaries, I want to thank you so much. Are we? All right, we are live now. Lovely. All right, so this evening, the AY title is How You Doing, Part 2. So I'm not sure if you all would have remembered the first How You Doing program that we had. I think it was um last year. I believe it was last year, maybe in October, around there. I can't remember the exact month. And we were spoken with about maybe 4 members from Arika Church. Some would have been studying abroad, some would have been living abroad, some living right here in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, but mostly Trinidad. All right, and we had spoken with them to find out how they're going because we know in this pandemic we are not interacting with our church members. I guess in person. I mean. All right, we can see them on a stream typing and say, hey, look, sister, typing on the screen. Hey, I wonder how she going. And I send her WhatsApp. But to actually know how they are doing, when we are in after church, how we love to stay in the foyer and, talk, although our pastors and the front would have tell us before y'all are blocking up the area. We usually like to stay there and discuss and talk and, cause traffic. But we can't do that now, right? We just can't do that. So I thought about it last year. That would be nice to find out how people are doing and genuinely find out how they are going. Because now we live in a time where we will be losing touch with a lot of people. We are not seeing them regularly. And the ones who are more quiet or who do not really speak out much, we may really lose them. So we really want to keep in contact with people, right? So this is an ongoing series. So we will have different parts. We'll have part 3, part 4. We'll be touching base with different people, all right? And of course, y'all can always reach out to me personally. I will share my phone contact, or you can reach out to any AY leader if you would like us to reach out to you. All right. Or if you have a name of someone that you would like us to reach out to. All right. So for this evening, we'll be talking to just two of our members from Aruka Church. All right. We have Megan Armstrong. I'm not sure if you all um, know exactly what she's doing right now, but we will find out when we watch that interview with her, right? And the second person, you'll be speaking to Carol Ann Stevens, all right? Lovely Carol Ann Stevens. So I want to thank them now. I will thank them later. I want to thank them now for taking time out of their busy schedule to be with us this evening, all right? So I just want to share text before we continue. In these times, it's really it's really easy to think that God has forgotten us. Some people may say, but how you could think that? But when people are going through different struggles or different situations, they may think, oh, why me? All the time before people could have been doing whatever they want, go different places, and now it's my time. This has to happen. So you may feel personally attacked. All right, so I just want to share this Bible text with us. It's one that really speaks out about God's plans for you. All right, so y'all can reach out to me. It's Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11. I'm reading from the New International Version. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. All right, just let that sink in for a bit. God has a plan for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. And it's not to harm, but it's for us to prosper. All right, so we may have definitions of what we think we should be going through right now and how we want to define the word prosper in our own lives, but God has this under control, and we need to hold that dear, hold that text dear to us to know that He has a plan for us, and we need to just go along with the ride, and we will find out exactly what that plan is. All right. So at this time, I will want us to listen to Megan. We would have recorded an interview with her. So I'm going to put you on to Megan right now.
All right.
Good morning. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
everyone. So my name is Cleon. All right. So we are here today for AY, and we are talking to a lovely young lady who goes by the name of Megan Armstrong. All right. So cue the clap. All right, everyone. Megan today. All right. So Megan, you're one of my favorite people. All right. I'm not sure if you know that, but you are. All right. So we want to start with the first question that we always do, asking, how are you? Now, before you answer, I want you to really internalize the question, all right? I know it's a big question, but just try and condense it. How are you in everything, all right? This is how are you mentally, physically, everything, all right? So, how are you? Go ahead.
Mentally, I'm fine. Physically, I'm fine. um, I am doing well,
Mhm.
given the situation currently in the world. Um, I'm doing my best. You know, uh, where I work, you really have to try and do your best. You know, so I am well, and I hope I remain well. I take whatever medication I have to take, whatever natural stuff I have to take, vitamins and stuff. I do that. So physically, I am okay for now, and I hope I continue to be okay under God's grace. But it's a stressful environment, but you have to develop coping mechanisms. So I am good for now.
All
You know,
right.
it's
All
getting
right.
bad, but I am good for now.
All right, okay. So I wanted to find out, right? I know you mentioned coping mechanisms, and so I just want to ask you one thing. So what do you do to like de-stress? Just give me one thing. It's one thing.
Well, well. So earlier on this year, I bought a keyboard.
Oh boy.
But I don't know how to play anything on the keyboard. But I have learned joyful and little tunes. So yeah, let's not be playing in church when the church open up. But that's one of the things that I do. So I come home, I do that, and then in the night, once I have time in the night, once I'm not working, I watch out at the stars through my binoculars or telescope and relax. So yeah.
All right, all right, nice man. Okay, so I see you mentioned where you're working and stuff. So you could just give us could just tell us where do you work? Where you say it's stressful. You could just tell us quickly. Mhm.
Well, I am a radiographer at Southwest. So San Fernando, General.
All right, big up all the radiographers out there. Nice, nice.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So yes,
so
I'm a
basically it's the
contract.
healthcare system. So basically, so we
Yeah.
understand why you
Yeah.
said stressful. All right. All right, we
Yeah.
understand. We understand.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
so up to yesterday, I dealt with a positive patient.
Wow.
So yeah,
I mean,
it could be stressful. Yeah.
I don't think like 2 years ago, I don't know if anyone could have really, like if you told someone what we be going through right now, they'd be like, "What you talking?" Like, what do you mean?
It's true. Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show us that we are not in control at all. We have to continue to put our trust in Christ because next month could be something that we could never really
Mm-hmm.
conceive. So
Yeah. So
that's
I go
always
with
think about.
Philippians 4:6. As you walk into the department, uh, I say a prayer, walk it in. Sometimes you get that sniff
Hmm.
of the hospital environment. You say a prayer, and then when you're going across to that side, you say a next prayer. And well, Auntie Mona, so good. So she is there. I have a message and be like, pray for me. Yeah.
All
So yeah,
right, all
it's
right.
a
So
praying environment now.
all right, so you mentioned somebody
Your,
named there.
your
So
church
so
is
we're
at
going to
work.
go. All right, so the second question, because I asked you how are you, all right? So I saw you mention her name there, so maybe her name might come out when I ask you this question. How are you affiliated with Aruka Seventh-day Adventist Church? Give me the
Yeah, sure,
condensed
Auntie
version.
Mona. Yes. Um, Condensed version. Well, we used to live opposite Auntie Mona. So Auntie
Okay,
Mona used to carry all mommy children to church, which includes me. So um, when I was born, like offering up would have been at Aruka Day, baptism, Aruka Day. So I was born and bred and everything through Aruka Day. I
all
mean,
right,
the best church in Trinidad.
here we go. So see that you would have, seeing that you would have been offered up and stuff in church, from a young age, that means you must have gone to junior church, right?
Yeah, that's all Philippians 4:6 in my head.
Great, great, great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know this will be hard, but give me like one thing that you held on to other than the Philippines, so as I said, one thing that you
Mhm.
remember from junior church, one thing that you will just never forget. No matter how old you are, one moment or anything that would have happened in junior church.
I think that is it, learning different texts from Uncle Bill and knowing from the club what text it is. I think that because up to now, like um, going through life, you're able to quote different texts, and most of the texts I know, like some of my coworkers think that I really know the Bible, but it's really true Uncle Bill. So them they are like Megan, you want a drink? I was like, no, mine is a Maka strong drink is virgin. Please decide it's not wine. So some of my friends actually know this text, know where it is taken from because I continuously repeat certain, So
Yeah,
so that is one of the most wow, like learning different texts and it able to carry you through life, you know? Yeah.
great man, great. All right, so graduated from there, so you'd have offered up there, and you would have been going to junior church, you'd be clapping, bouncing on the benches, how the usual thing is.
Yeah.
And then from there, now, from there, so you'd have gone into church. All right, tell me how was the transition from junior church to big church, as we call it. Do you remember how was the transition?
Um, what is strange? The transition went from me going into Antigua class, you know, yeah. And I was living with her, so you had to. But I mean, every morning and evening was worship.
Okay.
So during that class, I knew the text and I knew what the lesson was about for the week. You just had to be on top of your game because you're in her class. But the transition wasn't bad. You just felt more adultish. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
okay. All right. Nice, nice. Okay, so from there, and then, so that means, um, you start an AY? You start an AY?
Of course, so
Okay.
you never saw me in AY.
No, I asked it that because I remember Auntie Muna always in AY now. So I just wanted to find
I
out if
had
it,
no choice. I had no choice. I mean, I was um a secretary in AY.
okay.
Then I became the head secretary in AY, and then I was there for quite some time because before that was Pathfinder's Master Guide, you know. So that time would clash.
Yeah.
So eventually, yeah. So eventually, I was just in EY because I felt I was big again. So I didn't bother with the Pathfinders and stuff. And yeah, so I was a secretary for a while in EY.
All right. So as you say that, I think we would see if we could pull up some pictures of you in Pathfinders where we could just show the people, just as a reference point, I think I have a few in mind. I have a few in mind that we want, people to see. But anyway, moving on from that, all right. So you said you attended EY, you were secretary, right? That would have been like I don't want to tell your age, but like in what year was that? That was EY, that
That
was
was
what,
all
like
right.
that was what, 2000 and something?
2009.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, I mean, I don't know. I just want to find a timeline. All right. Okay. So going on from there. All right. So you say, well, you had to go, obviously, in EY because I had
Yeah,
team
that
and
was a
that stuff.
must.
All right. So,
But not because of her so much, eh? Because
okay.
even if she didn't attend, but I mean, even if I wasn't around her or anything, I still attended, But she was a pillar in church attendance and that groundedness in God when it comes to me.
All right.
Yeah.
So in terms of EY, has EY ever like helped you in anything in terms of life or any program that really stood out to you that would have, assisted in any decision making you had to do? Like, did EY ever help you in that way? Personally.
Of course. Now remember, if I yes, it's Adventist youth, so it would bring out the your gifts, your spiritual gifts, your abilities. So we would always have drama. I mean, I was in drama with you in different little skits, and so I mean, even if it went to the bigger stage, the little skits in AI would have enhanced that, for whatever the production that would help other persons in their spiritual journey with God and whatever. So of course, drama. Not only me, for other persons, it was music, it was whatever. When it comes to standing in front of crowds, it wasn't that hard. So it was a whole development when it came to AI. Well-rounded youths who formed, and developed. So yeah, so
All right.
it enhanced certain abilities that I would have had.
How many programs stood out there at all? You remember any EY
Um,
program that would have stood out there?
yes, like there were the ones with that most of the programs that stood out were competition lines, like when you had to read something and then the next UI they come and they asking questions, those kind of or anything with competition, which is not good, but a lot of those I remember I had one with Savio mashup. I don't know, they give them something to read
Yeah.
and she mashed it up. Yeah, yeah. So any question that was asked, she said for worship, that is what she did with her children. So those things are really, really vital when it comes to AI. You see, it when it gives somebody something to do during the week, they go into it, they go into it, they go into it. Saturday, and that lasts for a lifetime, So yeah, um, there were other programs, the boxing ring program. Um,
Classic, classic.
there was one with some chemicals that they used, and
Okay.
I was
Okay.
kind of cautious. They were in front of the church. They had on the lab coat and whatever, but they were showing, sometimes no matter because it had like a red substance, but no matter whatever they put in it, it represented the Holy Spirit. So it cleared up. So whatever sins you have, you can go to God, go to this, and it could clear up. There are a number of programs that I can remember.
All right, great, great. All right, so seeing, well, all the programs that I've mentioned, they were very creative as well. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing as we in 2021 now, going through this pandemic and we're not able to have AY in church. If you are AY leader at the moment, um, tell me how you think we can, keep that same, I guess, um, that same vigor or that same creative essence that we had back then, into now. Tell me just one thing that Megan, in your mind, one thing that you think that we can do to keep that interest there for the youths of today. Because before I answer, I give me a time,
Mm-hmm.
to think about it. I think we could agree that when we were youths at that time and youths now, it is completely different. Like in terms of what they're exposed
Definitely.
to, in terms of many things. Like our mind was just different. I'm not saying
Yeah,
which one better or not. I'm just saying that it's different, right? That's all I'm saying.
I,
It's
I'll
different.
tell you
So go
something.
ahead.
I was watching, so I was at work Friday night going,
You was watching
and
what?
I was watching an AY with
Okay.
Rennie,
Right,
Dr.
right, right.
Mota,
Yeah.
Dr.
Conference.
And Deidre.
Yeah.
And so I'm at work, but I'm getting little snippets, right? So I have the headphone on and I'm about. But something Deidre said stood out, which was, no, she loves certain social media platforms right now, like TikTok and whatever. And she said on a Friday night, her mother would put her on 3 p.m. and she would get up and walk and go inside. Um, because what she's saying is that there are a lot of things that not captivating the youth right now because other things are more captivating. Um, as short as back in our time was, we were still, first of all, we were disciplined. We didn't have much of a choice. It wasn't much about getting up and walking off on 3
Yeah.
p.m.
It
or whatever
started it
program is
started
going
with,
on.
yeah, we didn't have a choice. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So it's a discipline. And I think we would have grown to accept that not certain sermons that might be considered boring is also potent with information. So you sit down and you still listen. Because it's not just about,
Entertainment.
um, right, but the youths now, I don't even know if I want to have a child in this era. Um, to entertain, I don't know if you
Yeah.
have to go outside and skip and hold on to, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I will tell you something. Uh, the programs that five of us have, but it's not AY, that
Okay.
little drama series segment.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, yeah. So I think getting the youths involved, I mean, you can't come together right now, but getting them involved in such a way where they could probably depict certain characters and that is a very hard question, I know, because it's really to after for them to actually sit down and watch it. Some of them won't be even willing to do it, you know. Um, to get the youths now, I don't know that is a prayer and fast. Something else has happened because AY has dwindled down tremendously over the years.
Yeah.
They are definitely captivated. And you know what? To be honest, it starts at home. That same discipline.
There we go.
Um, a lot of parents leave their children up to their own devices, literally. Um, and so the world is captivating them more than God. So it starts at home. Whatever anybody says, I don't care what anybody says. It starts at home.
Yeah.
And if the parents and it is one life they're living in church, and then when they reach home, it's a whole different ball game. How could you correct your children when your children are seeing you doing different things? There's no longer a world where you do as I say and not as I do, you know. So it's really difficult. I think prayer and fast, it needs to be there. We need to get those prayer warriors out for the youth. Um, yeah. So I honestly can't really put my finger on something
Mhm.
that will really capture. I can't say to form a TikTok. I can't say to form your own Facebook. I can't say to form an Instagram. You know, I think a lot of youths now the little spirituality that they get is from on these forums where they are Christians putting out whatever they want to put out. And it may not even be the truth.
Yeah.
But
So you gotta be
but they
careful.
are taking it and they are running with it, and you're having a conversation with them, and they want to argue. No, this is what it is. They it's a strange, listen, I don't
Yeah.
know. And it's slowly, it's quickly becoming a generation of vipers.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would say a lot of persons are being reached by the YouTube. Some of them, you see them over 1,000. For AY, viewers are talking about, for AY, you would see 32 persons there. But on YouTube, you would see 320, or and more, because
Yeah.
you would see a lot of them, you're seeing the number of views. So I think it's just to keep them on these, so whatever you have here going on need to be very, very, very important, need to be very captivating, need to be,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
I understand. All right. So yeah, because I wanted to reach out because I know that you're very passionate about drama as well, So I think that when we really look into it, we have to, I guess, find out from them, well, what is really, as you had mentioned, the whole TikTok and different things like that. So we have to find ways now to once again provide truth, which we would have been provided with, but as you said, in terms it was kind of sometimes forced, but then you realize the value afterwards. But now because um we don't have they have to go to church and everybody home now, we're seeing that a lot of parents who before the children will just come with church and then they may have gotten something in church, but since they don't have to come to church now, we're seeing where parents have to do more parenting and where they have to be a little
So
more in their face.
on a Saturday morning, those parents are in their bed,
Yeah,
and the children are in their room doing
yeah.
whatever, you know. So they are scrolling through Facebook, they are doing whatever. They are watching the state of emergency
Yeah,
briefings, all the briefings. On a Saturday, I'm seeing a lot of Adventist youth putting up all these stuff, you know. But I, I think the parents really need to devote some time into their kids. And then the older youth need to also devote some time into the younger ones,
yeah.
you
So
know.
we have,
But
yeah,
there's a gap. There's a gap.
yeah, yeah. Yes, I always say that. So I always look at what we could do, you know, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
seeing that we would have been
But this
exposed to
was
such.
different. You
I,
see, Auntie Vala would have called me, Sister Liza. Sometimes I
yeah,
walk them from school and I've seen them and they all have a word. Sister Oliver, and you would appreciate it. You didn't have an issue with Sister Oliver always had something to eat, but you would appreciate these persons that would always call and check in, showing, and all them will call and check in. But as I say, right now there's a gap. So I mean, I would call one of the well, I won't call. I would message one of the youths and ask them how they doing and whatever. Sometimes it take a while for them to respond, and they're not really that interested because they are doing their own thing. They are all doing their own thing. I talked to a number of youths from church. Um, they are very nice, but
go ahead.
um, yeah, they are very nice youths, but they are really left to do their own thing,
Yeah.
you know.
All right.
So
So
it's really hard to reach out to them.
all
Yeah.
right. So, but even on a positive note, right? We have to know that we have our work to do and they must be reached because I'm sure there were many, I guess, elder ones in our time saying, "Oh gosh, these youth and them, they lost, they lost." I'm sure they would have
Mm.
probably watched Cleon a day or watched Megan a day and say, "Nah, nah."
Mm.
And so I believe that even though we may think it's kind of difficult now, we still have to find our way, and there's always a way. There's always a way that we can reach. It may be more difficult as we may think it may be now, but there's always a way. All right. So as the AI leader, I'll be looking to tap into different things. So seeing that you do drama, I'm gonna reach out to you and see if we could do like a running series with them, something to really get them the truth, because the truth is the main thing, but in a
Yeah.
format where they can appreciate. All right?
Yeah. Draw
Yeah.
them closer to God. Yeah.
I think that is the final, thing that we really have to go through. All right, so we want to end with that, just because we don't want to say it's just doom and gloom and it can't be reached. All right, it's
Mm-hmm.
obvious that it can be because with God all things are possible. All right,
Yeah.
so Megan, we want to thank you, but before we go, all right, I want to give you the opportunity to shout out anybody that you want to shout out. All right, don't feel how if you leave out names is okay. All right, you could just say hi because many people have not seen your face in a while. All right, even before COVID, you'd have moved and San Fernando and different things like that. So we're just very, very happy to see you. You look well, and we just want you to shout out anyone. All right, your time now. Go ahead.
Um, well, my fellow youths, Delia, Chantel, Kendall always. Oh, there's a dry coffee have there, Keon.
What's that?
There's a dry coffee have. Kendall always messages me almost every week.
That's it.
And Kendall is one who isn't really that in church, actively in church. And he always, almost every week, up to this week, go on, he say, Megan, how things on your end? So I appreciate those persons. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. All right. So once again, we want to thank you. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy, busy day. We really appreciate you.
I'm gonna get ready for work now.
People may not have known I've been trying to do this for a while, all right? But it's all right. We got it done. We got it done, all right? So we may reach out to you another time, maybe sometime later in the year. Really want to thank you, the AY department. Thank you so, so much. All right, Megan?
No problem.
Thank you so much.
All right. Really want to thank Megan, man. That was really, really nice. Let me know when I'm back on. Yeah, so we want to really thank Megan for that. Really, really nice interview. And we want to also thank those on YouTube as well who would have been making their different comments. We will be reading out a little later. I just want to shout out Sharon Beckles, Denise as well, Dina Les, Adrian, always, always, always supporting. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. And we'll look at the messages on YouTube a little later. All right. So thank you so much. Megan would have mentioned a lot of things. We'll just touch on them after we look at this special music. So this special music that we are going to have now is coming all the way from Bahamas. All right, I almost said United States of Bahamas. It's coming from Bahamas by the lovely Sandra Burrows and Gentry Morris. All right, so I hope that you enjoy this special music. Go ahead, Ife. Wow, 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 wow. All right, so Yomi, that was well done. We want to thank you so much for allowing us to show that. So the beautiful lady that was sitting down there, that is my future mother-in-law, Sandra Burrows. Thank you so much. Talent, talent, talent. All right, so we wanted before we move on to the second person I was going to interview for today, Caroline Stevens. If you could just make sure that she's on. I wanted to just touch on 2 points that Megan would have mentioned. So you all can probably put your thoughts in the YouTube chat. So she mentioned about, I guess, when parents are home and they're in the beds, and we have the younger ones, I guess, as she said, up to their own devices. So you all could probably just, mention in the YouTube chat a way that you all think that parents could, um, encourage the younger ones to actually look at the messages that are displayed, especially like the Ruka Church or when we have church and stuff. So you can give us some suggestions, and because we always love to hear from the members, because remember, the church is basically members, right? It's the congregation. So we want to hear from you all. So I know she would have mentioned that, and as Wendy Boucher would have said, welcome Wendy, that there is always hope. And I truly, truly believe that. All right. So we need the older ones to really help us. And we need to take that instruction. All right. So I want to also welcome Clarine Adams. Thank you so much for being online as well. And all those that are online. All right. For those that would have mentioned. Edwards, I apologize. All right. So we'll have our second interviewer here today. We're going to ask her a lovely question. How is she doing? Caroline Stevens, are you there? If you're unmuted, you can mute yourself. I'm still not hearing. Ife, could you just confirm that? Yes, you have to put your mic on there. Caroline, just try it. Put your mic on. We know how technology works sometimes. There's some always glitches. So before it would have been me in church and the mic making a noise and I press the button, but now it's just um, the. Alright, so we just wait a little while, and if not, I'll just go back to the questions to see if we are able to hear her. I want to thank you again, Caroline, for being here. But you can hear us, right? That's correct. She can hear us. All right. So we'll wait on her until she comes back on. So that was the first point about parents who are in beds and and maybe um you know not so, I guess, because before we would have been in church, so they say, all right, wake up, time to go to church, but really trying to encourage the younger ones and maybe look at other ways, because sometimes the material that is probably given, it's so COVID related that some people may feel overwhelmed and may seem that I don't really need to watch this. So maybe we can look at other ways that we can actually reach out, especially the youth, because just sitting down and watching on may not be as interesting as when they were in church and they're able to see their friends and able to um, socialize. All right, so you will be hearing my dog in the back. It's okay. All right. So that was the first point, and the second point that you mentioned was the part that was dealing with Adventists, I guess, taking heed and watching these press conferences that are happening um, during Sabbath time. So it's a little ticklish there. So do you all think it's a distraction, to be actively looking out for these things on Sabbath and posting about stuff and things like that? So you can put your comments in the comment section and we can talk about that as well. All right. So the first point was about how we could encourage the parents to encourage the children, and the second one is dealing with these press conferences around Sabbath time and how, as Adventists, we should really deal with it. All right. So Caroline, she should be back on now. Caroline, let me hear.
Hi, Cleon.
Great. And if they're able to see her as well. She looks lovely in her little black. Lovely hair as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What do you call that? I don't want to say
Full
this
ups.
breed.
Full ups.
What is it? That is FAUX?
FAUXLOCS. Full ups.
Okay. Very nice. Looks lovely. All
Thank
right.
you.
So You're welcome. So we want to start. Well, I would have introduced you already as Caroline Stevens, all right. But since we are on YouTube, there's some people who may not know who you are, all right. So I'll just start off with asking you the question that we always ask: How are you doing? Take it however you like. How are you doing right now as we speak?
I am doing well, given everything that is happening locally and globally. I am attempting to keep sane in the middle of a crazy pandemic.
Hmm. All right.
Yes, that's
Good answer. Well, I'm trying to keep saying, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
yes.
All right. So give us the, as we always say, the abridged version, but give us a background. Who is Caroline Stevens, and how are you affiliated with Aruka SDA Church?
Okay. I was born and grew up in the church in Aruka State Church. Um,
0 years, right?
okay. Let me see how truthful I could be about this because I think there was a
Yeah.
moment in time when my mother wasn't really actively involved in church. So I would say like around five. Although I was dedicated in the church, around 5, 6. The real going to church and being actively involved in church started around that age. Yeah.
All right.
So, and I would have started going to Aruka Church, gotten baptized in Aruka Church, branched off to Bonnet when the church had split because it was too big.
Right.
Went
Right.
started going to Bonnet SDA, and then Bonnet closed down, and then started coming back to Aruka Church. So yeah,
All right.
that's
Okay.
my history with Aruka. Yeah.
All right. And you grew up with your siblings in Aruka as well.
Yes,
So it's
all five of us would attend Aruka Church. The Stevens family, as everybody would know us. Mommy could well cook. She would cook for a lot of
on.
events for church. She was always entertaining persons in her house. Also, she was a great
You
entertainer.
make some.
And I think I
All
probably would have gotten that quality of always wanting to entertain people and make people feel welcomed and special from her. Not saying that daddy wasn't that way, but mommy was known for always
right.
having people and inviting persons to her home.
Okay. All right. All right. Great. 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 So since you say you're small, that means you'd have grown up in junior church as well, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
Right. 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 So you say me I would have asked me and different things like that. So give me something that you held on to from in junior church. That's something
It
that
was
up to
always
this
the
day.
clapping competition. It was always the clapping
That's a fan.
competition in, in junior church, along with learning text from Uncle Bill. Even up to now, like certain texts, but would you remember it because you learn how to say it, and then you learn how to clap it, and then you learn how to click it from Uncle Bill. Yeah. So that
Click
was
it.
basically the
That's what you
highlight of
want.
junior. Click it, yeah, click it,
I
or
think that's
snap
snapper,
it.
but go
Snap, click, same thing. Same thing, Cleon.
ahead. All right, fair
Yeah.
enough. All right, so right. So we grew up in that era, and I really apologize for all of those who are watching who didn't grow up in it. And I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be the same, I mean,
Would
moving
never be
forward,
the
even with
same. I don't even think it
Abby.
is the same now. It's a disadvantage.
True. But I apologize for all of those, and we really see, because I know that Brother Gerald would have some videos. So we really see if we can do, a little trip down memory lane. I know some people may not like how they made us look back then, but we really need to have some videos on the YouTube channel as well. Showing. I don't want to say the good old days, because I believe every generation has their good days, right? So back
Mm-hmm.
then, just showing was, and how dedicated some people really were, and even see if we could, find some familiar faces, right? So we could see if that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we could do. page as well. All right, so seeing this as AY, all right, tell me when was the first time you were actively involved in AY? Like, tell me. I feel like it's a good story.
I'm trying to not sell out my age, but I think I would have started AY when I was like about 13, 14, at Bonnet Church, and then when we trans well, yes, let's say not so long ago. When we when we would have transitioned from Bonnet Church, the then pastor didn't want the persons from Bonnet Church to feel left out. So I was in AY in Bonnet Church, so automatically they put us, those who were there, into AY, and I've been in AY up until I resigned from the position of head AY leader um, in
2017.
2017 or 2017. Yeah.
All right, nice, nice, nice. So tell me how AY would have impacted your life in terms of, like if it made you, because some people will say it made them braver, even after the work or after the presentations or, usual stuff like that. But tell me how specifically it would have impacted you, positively and if negatively as well. Because we're not just talking,
Sure,
when we
no
do
problem. I mean, because
like,
everything has its positive and negative. I grew up in the era of AY with Brother John. And
okay,
for those of you all who know Brother John, he was a he is a stickler for young people, embracing their talent, putting themselves out there, and for training young people to be better people for tomorrow, basically. So he would have carried us on many training sessions where we learned how to do public speaking, where we learned how to boost our self-esteem, where we learned team building. We did a lot of team building exercises, um, and all in preparation not just for church, but for the world of school and the world of work. He tried to
right,
make us all well-rounded, individuals. So that I think my self esteem boosted and my ability to do public speaking, although I am most times very nervous. Just before the interview started, I messaged Daniel and I told her I was nervous because I really don't like the limelight. He kind of taught us,
well, you're
even though you feel that way, how to confidently portray yourself so that the congregation or whoever your audience doesn't have to know that you feel that way. Um,
understand.
my negative
Let's hear it. Come on,
experience in,
come on.
in, in AY, I guess that's when I became AY leader and I saw the hard work that that dealing with young people really is, and also having to defend young people to maybe a church that says that they are young people oriented. Um, I had my struggles with that, and yeah, so those were the cons. That is the con of being in AEY. I think learning how to deal with
Yeah,
personalities, because I think I am a perfectionist and I will take back things from people when I feel like it's not getting done to the standard that I want it to be done. Um, so learning to deal with different personalities and that kind of thing, it tired me out. So that's why I took a step back and I said, let me see if I can help young people where I was initially, not in the limelight, but where I was initially in the background, helping persons out in that way.
all right, I understand. Ooh, I'm a dog. No. All right, so yes, I understand what you're saying. So in terms of dealing with all the personalities and different things like that, because being in charge, you really see, there's some people may handle stuff or may think that, all right, I will take 2 weeks to do this, or I'll do this the night before, when really you really want people to really, have a certain standard, and it's kind of hard when you have so different personalities. I understand.
Yes.
I truly understand where you're coming from. All right, so right now, let's say you were AY leader in 2021. Tell me how you think we can get AY even somewhere close to where it was in terms of that whole, togetherness, or even want people to actually tune in and be part of it. Tell me something that you
I
want to share.
honestly, Cleon, I think that as that we've lost the connection with the young people in terms of we have no relationship with them, so we don't know what they want, what they like, what they dislike. So that's a big disconnect, and because we don't know the young people, we cannot cater to them, cater to their needs. The young people are in a generation of why. Why do we have to do this? What is the reason? They ask a lot of questions, and because I would want to say we grew up in a era of you do it because you were told to do so. Um, that is our disconnect. I'm not hearing you for some reason.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, so that's the disconnect that we have with the young people because they are now questioning why they have to do things a certain way, and we are wanting them to do it the way that we know it should be done. So I think that the first thing that we should do is to try to establish a connection or build a relationship with the young people to determine what their needs are, and then I would have realized when Sherwin would have the Friday night sessions with the young people, they like to come and sit down and talk about their challenges and issues. And something that we tend to say young people shouldn't have issues because they don't know what it's like to be adults, and that is unrealistic of us to even think that young people don't have challenges and issues. They are more exposed to life than we ever were, right? So they can be experiencing bullying, sexual advancements, all these things they are exposed to on a greater scale than we ever will. So sitting down, and I realized with Shuen and they sitting down talking to them, they had an opportunity to speak out and share their experiences, and they enjoy that. They also like to debate things. Um, so I don't know. I think incorporating that as well, in addition to what Megan would have said, because Megan made some very salient points in her part of the interview, but incorporating that as well in our approach to the young people might help them. COVID has made it very, very, very easy for persons to just slip out of the church, and nobody has an idea of where they are and what they're doing. And yes, accountability on the parents' part plays a major role. But then, as church members, as sisters and brothers in Christ, we also have a responsibility to check in and make sure that they are doing okay. Are you attending the AY sessions? What is the issue with the AY session? What did you like about the AY session? What did you not like about the AY session? So that you could do a program that would be geared or catered to meet their needs.
Wow. I feel like it was just prepared for that question a while
Oh God,
now
no.
and just keep. No,
Sorry,
I'm really.
sorry, but it is a big passion of mine in terms of, and I mean it's not just the young people. I think across the board we've lost
Yeah.
that connection where we reach out and we can't see each other. So picking up a phone and calling and making sure people are okay, because not everybody is dealing with this COVID virus well, and as I started by saying, I am trying to stay sane, right? A lot of people are suffering from mental health issues, etc. And as a church, we are supposed to be coming together and checking in on each other. It's very easy because we had the foundation. Young people are struggling with the foundation, so we need to reach out and make sure that that connection continues to be there between us and the young
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, because I was wanting to mention when you said some people are really not doing well. some, like, even as a therapeutic something, some people usually literally you should just drive by the beach to just
Yes.
feel seen. And now, right now, we can't legally, we can't legally do that, and there are lots of different coping mechanisms that people would have used before, even just leaving where you are, like your house. So you may be the only Adventist living where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you would love for Saturday when you can just go to church, and then while everyone else may be watching their cartoons or doing something else, but you can leave. But now, especially, like, let's say you're a youth and you're younger in that household, you may not be able to call the shots to say, all right, I want to watch this on TV, or. So it may be very, very, very difficult to still be home and to not have these avenues that you would have had before where you can break free. So I really want to thank you for that, for even bringing out, the whole aspect of reaching out, because I believe that everyone has their part to play. All right, so it can start from on top, the elders, everyone, they have different numbers to call and see how
Correct.
you're going, whatever. A first call is just basically just like how we having this conversation. When I ask you how you're going, you would say well. And then another time for a call, I might say, all right. Another call might get, deep into exactly what you might be going through. So it's
Yep.
not just about signing. Oh, yeah. All right.
Address,
So,
yes.
yes, definitely want to thank you. And it seemed like you had that answer written out, and we want to appreciate
I
that.
did. I did not, but it again, it's something that I
That's close.
feel very passionately about in terms of we never know what people are going through, and I have legitimately seen persons just skate out of the
Yeah,
church and they use COVID as the reason why they are not coming to church anymore, and that's it for them. So as leaders in the church, we need to be more aware, I guess, and
yeah.
make a greater effort to, yeah.
All right. So once again, we want to thank you, and just as I would have done with Megan, seeing that we are not in shoots to actually hail up and say, hey, how you going, or say hi. I want to give you the opportunity, on top of your head, if I have anybody you want to say hi to, it gotta be from America because you have people all over. Just want to say a hi to and a happy Sabbath. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Hmm. I want to say hi to Brother John and Sister Dean and
Hey, I called Sister Dean this week. Anyway, go ahead.
who else do I want to say hi to? I'll just leave it at Brother John and Sister Dean.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure if they're not here right now, that they'll be able to see it at some point in time. All right. So thank you so much, Caroline. We really, really appreciate it. As I said, you don't
Not a
really like in
problem.
terms of camera that often, but we appreciate you so, so, so much. All right. Thank you once again. All right. So we want to thank Caroline again, all right, for taking her time and being with us today. At this time, we have another special music. It's one that we would have had before, but I love it so much, and I usually reach out to her and tell her, thank you so much for doing that." So it's Savion Beckles with her sister Solan Beckles. They did a duet, and this time we will have that special music.
Though man may strive to go beyond the reach of space, to go beyond the distant shimmering stars, this world's a room so small within my master's house. The open sky is but a portion of his yard. How big is God? How big and wide his vast domain? To try to tell these lips can only start. He's big enough by summer's rain. The heart grown cold will warm and trod with life anew. The master's touch will bring the glow again. How big is God? How big and wide His vast domain? To try to tell His lips can only start. He's big enough to rule this mighty universe, yet small enough to live within my arms. How big is God? How big and wide His vast domain? To try to tell His lips can only start. He's big enough to rule this mighty universe, yet small enough to live within my heart. Yet small enough to live within my
Thank you so much. I really, really love that song, and especially the ending where those waiting for the music to come back. I always tease so on about that. Within my love it, love it. All right, so we wanna shout out some more people from the YouTube comment section. Denise Thompson, thank you so much for the idea. We will definitely be looking into that. Thank you so much. We have Brother Walcott, Anthony Walcott. Some people may not even know your first name was Anthony. Thank you so much, Brother Walcott, for joining us. We have Claire Edwards. I believe I would have said Claire before. I do apologize. Alea, thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your busy, busy schedule, Alea. And we have Celian Quintero. Thank you so much. And of course, those are not commenting. We know that you're there and we want to welcome you as well, wherever in the world that you all are. All right, so just mentioning some things that Caroline would have mentioned before about basically, I guess, my generation and her generation having a foundation where the older ones would have given us that foundation where we can now step on and not really seeing one for the youths of today. And that really falls on our shoulders. All right, I'm speaking for myself as well as the youth leader. It really falls on my shoulders where we have to look into ways where we have to reach the youth. We can't just say, well, and put our hands up and say that's how it is. We need to find avenues where we can reach out to them. And of course, as she said, bridge that gap. Because it's one thing to be putting on programs and not really putting on programs that are reaching toward them. All right, because you can have a million programs, and if they're not watching or they're not interested, then as they say, you are what they say. I'm singing to the choir or preaching to the choir. And I don't understand why was the choir sings, but you understand what I mean. All right. So we need to actually find out from them and let them take part in it. And they will see the value as we would have seen the value later on as well. I always use the analogy of corporal punishment. All right. I know some people don't like it, and but I know for myself it works. Obviously, in different formats, right? But initially, when the corporal punishment, in terms of being in primary school and stuff, when you're getting licks for something, at a point in time, you're not really seeing the value of it, really and truly. It's only later on you realize why it was necessary to really stop us from doing what we want to do. Because as humans, we know we love to do the wrong thing. And that's why children would always go to touch a fire or do this, because that's just how we are as humans, all right? Sorry for the noise there. That's my dog. He's also excited. There seems to be something going on out there. I'll let you know to rest on the Sabbath. All right, I will make sure to say that. But so back to as I was saying, it's really about seeing the value in it later on. All right, so we need to get them involved now and give them that foundation, help them to see how important it is to stay close to God and be part of His work, because it really helps every avenue of your life. I am so thankful for all the leaders that would have given their time and effort to sit junior church or even lesson study when you reach downstairs. And it's not easy when you become part of when you become in these positions older on, you realize, wait, all this is we doing and they still had a family to mind. I mean, it's so much that they put out, and so we are very, very, very thankful for all of those that would have given so much effort. And we now, in this time, have to find ways, just as they found ways back then, to keep all these little children interested. I don't know how they did it. All of us were just glued and we just wanted to hear about all these Bible stories and how it could affect us, and clapping and snapping and all these things. Is They would have come up with ideas. So we now have to use the forums that we have the same way they would have used it and reach the youth for today. Because we can't just keep saying people slipping out and people slipping out and we're not doing anything about it. We have to actively find ways where we can assist them. All right, so if you're not hearing from them, and that's why I really want to have more of these, how you're doing, where we'll be reaching out to people that we may not have seen much, so we can find out how they're doing and continue the dialogue. So it's really for us to continue to reach them. That's what it is. So I'm having it here so we can continue to reach them. All right, so that was just now. So that was basically what the AY program was more so geared towards. Finding out how people are doing in church so that you all can continue. So you see me, I would have reached out to Caroline and Megan. Now you can think about people that you would have spoken to if you were in church. If you were in AY right now, who would you used to sit down next to? Who would you see in a row two rows before? Who would you see 2 rows back? Who would be walking outside and saying, and to tell them to come back inside? Think of these people and then reach out to, I guess you can reach out to me or Sophia the clerk, Sophia Scantleberry as well. Hey, shout out to her as well, I saw her in the comments. Reach out to find out her contact information for them. I mean, we we need to keep that close contact with our brethren. All right, because we don't want to just wait on, because we don't know when we'll be back in the church. We don't know. So you have to act like if we may not be back in church anytime soon. Right? So you have to continue that effort and be our brother's keeper. And I want to end with exactly the Bible text I would have started with, which was Jeremiah 29:11. All right. So I'll give you all a time where you can just find it quickly. All right, Jeremiah 29:11. I'll read from the King James this time. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So he knows our end, right? He knows what's going to happen. So in this time that we are in now, I want us to keep as level-headed as we could, and as Caroline said, trying to keep us sane as we could, because we know the person that we are giving our praise to knows the end, and he was there at the beginning. And once you are in close contact with the person who knows the end, then we should really have no fear. But as humans, of course, we will feel these emotions, but it's always to get them back in check, right? We need to be different from our neighbors, from people who are not closely in contact with Christ, so that they can see the difference in us. And that is only Christ giving us that. And as not a boastful difference. It is there so that we can share it, so they can say, wow, I want to be of that as well. So they must see something in us where they say, wow, look how all is going through and they still keep it positive. And it's not a false positive either, because people can see right through that. They may be tricked at the beginning, but they can see right through that. You can only keep up the app for so long. All right, so for us to continue to keep that, we need to continue to know that God wants to give us, and He wants us to prosper. Nothing to do with evil at all. All right, so I want to thank all of those who would have been part of the program. Ife is doing such a brilliant work. Megan, I want to thank Caroline Stevens, thank you so much. And for those online on YouTube, continue to support us and continue to be part of what we're going through as well. All right. So before we guys want to go through some of the YouTube comments, so we have Kira. Oh gosh, Kira. Oh, how can I forget to thank Kira? So all of the posters that you're gonna be seeing are gonna be flyers. Kieran is my go-to guy, and he does. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Kieran. Y'all have no idea how much Kieran does for you. Kieran Isaac, thank you so much. Altia Isaac, I want to thank you so much for being part of the AY experience. All right, so thank you so much for the idea as well. I'm seeing the WhatsApp group idea. Thank you so much. Kira said give the dog a segment. All right, I'll think about it, Kira. Thank you so much for that idea. All right, so I'll talk to him. All right, so we just want to close with prayer. So everyone, pay attention everywhere. Lord, we thank you for being with us in this EY program today. We thank you for being with our thoughts, and we want this to not just be a lip service, Lord, where we say we are going to look into things and then we never ever look into it. We want to truly put a sort of effort into reaching the youth in Aruka and environs and assisting them with that foundation that many of us would have had when we were younger, Lord. We want to continue to to be compassionate, Lord, and to realize that everyone is going through their own problems. So even if they may not be on board as quickly as you may want them to, let us know that with the help of the Holy Spirit that they will reach there once we do what we have to do. So let us know that everyone is going through their own problems and their unique situations, and we must remember that when reaching out to others. Continue to be with the Adventist Youth Society of Aruka Church and all of those who have helped us to reach here. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, and we'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. Thank you.